Dear children, welcome back to the online class of Sri Gokulam Public School. Last class we started the chapter Costs of Production. Costs are the expenses incurred by the firm or by the producer to produce outputs or to produce goods and services. To produce goods, a firm or a producer needs inputs. Costs are also known as input prices. Today, let's study about short-run costs. Before we study short-run costs, let us distinguish between short-run and long-run. That is, short-run production and long-run production. Short-run means some factors are fixed, some other factors are variable. In the long run, there is no difference between fixed and variable factors. All factors are variable in the long run. Okay? So today, let us study more about short-run costs. Short-run costs can be defined as, that is, total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. So, we have to distinguish between fixed costs and variable costs of production. Fixed costs are the costs on fixed inputs. Variable costs are the costs on variable inputs or variable factors. Fixed costs are those costs that do not vary with the size of the outputs. It is fixed. Okay, whether the output is high or low, fixed cost is fixed. Variable costs are those costs that vary with the size of the outputs. Examples of fixed costs: expenditure on land, expenditure on machines, expenditure on building, etc. Variable costs examples are costs of laborers and cost of materials. Okay? How can you distinguish between fixed and variable costs? Fixed costs are those costs that do not vary with the size of the output produced. Variable costs are those costs that vary along with the level of the outputs. Okay? So, first of all, distinguish between short-run production and long-run production. Second, we can distinguish between fixed and variable costs. Short-run, some factors are fixed, some other factors are variable. Long-run, all factors are variable. Fixed cost is fixed along with the level of the output produced. Variable costs vary with the level of outputs. Examples of fixed costs: expenditure on plants and machines, land and building, etc. Examples on variable costs: costs of laborers and cost of materials. Okay, raw materials. Now with the help of a schedule and diagram, we can study short-run costs. Total cost is the sum total of costs incurred by the firm to produce goods and services. Total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable costs. So, schedule. First column, output in units. Second column, fixed cost. Third column, variable cost. Last column, total cost. As you know, total cost is the sum of fixed cost and variable cost. Various levels of output, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Fixed cost remains fixed at various levels of output. Variable cost, you know, when the output is more, variable cost is more. When the output is less, variable cost is less. When the output increases, variable cost also increases. Okay? If you add fixed cost and variable cost, you will get the total cost. Clear? Since the total cost is the sum total of fixed cost and variable cost. Now, suppose output is 0, fixed cost is positive, variable cost is 0. Even if the output is 0, we have to incur fixed cost. Okay, even if the factory is closed, we have to pay the rent on building, salaries of the permanent employees, etc. Okay, so even if the output is 0, fixed cost is positive. Output is 0, variable cost is 0. Okay, output is more, variable cost is more. When the output increases, variable cost also increases. But whatever may be the level of output, fixed cost is fixed. Okay, so total cost is the sum total of total fixed cost and total variable cost at various levels of output. 10 plus 0, 10, 10 plus 10, 20, 10 plus 18, 28, 10 plus 24, 34 and so on. Now, let's derive these curves, namely fixed cost, variable cost and total cost curves. Even if the output is 0, fixed cost is positive. Here, at all the levels of output, fixed cost is 10 rupees. So, fixed cost curve is a horizontal line parallel to OX axis because it is fixed along with the level of the output produced. Variable cost curve starting from the origin, that is output is 0, variable cost is 0. When the output is more, variable cost is more. Variable cost increases along with the level of the output produced. And next is, if you plot output and total cost. Total cost is a sum of fixed and variable cost. If you plot output and TC, you will get the TC curve. That is starting from the positive range. That is 0, output is 0, total cost is 10. So you can see when we draw it together, all these curves under a single diagram. OX axis outputs, OY axis TC, VC and TFC. Fixed cost is horizontal parallel to OX axis because it is fixed at various levels of output. TVC starting from the origin, along with the level of the output. When the output is more, variable cost is more. And when we draw total cost, the total cost curve lies above these two curves because total cost is greater than FC and VC. Total cost is greater than FC and VC. Total cost curves lies above these two curves. Okay, so TC is the sum total of TFC plus TVC. TC curve we drawn by adding FC and VC. Okay, I hope you follow how to derive TFC, TVC and TC. TFC curve is horizontal. TC curve you can see when the output increases, variable cost also increases. TC just we drawn parallel to TVC. Because TVC and TC differs only with respect to fixed cost of production. So this TC is a parallel curve. Okay, we draw TC as a parallel curve. Okay, corresponding to TVC. Because TC and TVC differs only with respect to fixed cost. Okay. Thank you.